my name is Brandon, and today I want to talk about the book called Walk Two Moons. And the author of this book is Sharon Creech. And the genre of this book is coming of age and mystery. And the setting of this book is Ohio to Idaho and Burbank, Kentucky. So it's mostly in America. And the time is 1990s. And I'll give you a short summary, but I'll not spoil the ending. So this book is about a girl named Sal, short for Salamander Tree Hindle. And this girl lived in Burbank, Kentucky with her mom and dad. And they had a pretty big farm, and they played there. They had a lot of adventures. There was many things happening. But then suddenly Sal's mom, I don't know why, but it went to Idaho by bus. And she did send postcards to tell the family that she's okay sometimes, but their family was depressed. And Sal's dad decides to sell the farm and move to a town where Mrs. Cadaver lived. And Mrs. Cadaver is Dad's girlfriend. So Sal didn't like him or her that much because she already had a mom, but I think she was kind of jealous. And so in that story, the interesting thing is that that's not the present. The present is Sal traveling with her grandparents to Idaho to meet her mother. And there's a lot of adventures while going there also, so it's really fun. And so to continue with the story, she meets a girl named Phoebe in the town. And Phoebe is really a city girl, I think, because she doesn't like people touching her. And she thinks of weird things, like a mysterious person left a note at their house, and she thinks he's a lunatic. And she thinks that Mrs. Cadaver, which is Dad's girlfriend, buried her husband because it's Mrs. Cadaver, right? So she's married. So she thinks Mrs. Cadaver buried Mr. Cadaver in a bush. And that was giving me creeps. And so it continues, and Phoebe and Sal continues to do adventures. But one day, Phoebe's mother disappears. And I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I hope you can read it, because the story of how they go to Idaho is super fun also. Grandma gets hurt by a poisonous snake, and even the stories that Sal tells to her grandparents is so exciting, and it's so tension. And I think I'll rate this book a 10 out of 10 because it's so fun and gives me tensions, and I can feel it. Okay, so now I'm going to recommend this book to somebody, and I think Ivan will like it. And because I think he likes kind of short books, and I think he will like this book because it's not that hard, and there's mysteries, and it's kind of confusing to read because there's two stories coming at the same time. But I don't think Ivan will feel that it's hard, because I don't think he doesn't like confusing stories. And I think Caleb won't like this book because I don't think he really likes mystery, and this plot and this line is really confusing. So sometimes it happens in the car, sometimes it happens in Sal's story, and it sometimes doesn't tell us efficiently where the point of the book is. So I got really mad about it. And I think Caleb is Mr. Perfecto, like me. So I don't think he'll like books that are confusing and doesn't really state the point that it is on the timeline. And that is why I think Caleb wouldn't like it. But mostly I want to recommend this book to everybody because it's so awesome and fun, and I really hope you can read it. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Dan, and today I am going to talk about the book called The Sign of the Beaver. The author of this book is Elizabeth George Spear. The genre of this book is realistic fiction. The setting of this book is 20th century and in the wild, in the forest or woods. This book is about a boy called Matt, but his real full name is Matthew. He lives in the wild with his father, but his father went to find his mother, who is living at the other land. So Matt lives by himself for a while, and he meets a boy called Athen. He knows many things about living in the wild because he's an Indian. Athen teaches Matt many things, and Math also teaches him the English because India doesn't know very much about English. So Math lives with Athen for a long time until his father comes back. I like the part where Math finally meets his father again after a long time. That was a bit overwhelming for me, and yes, I like that part the most. I rate this book 9 out of 10 because first, this was a short book and I like short books. And it was pretty easy to read. But I don't really like the stories about living in the wild because there's no main story. If most of the books about living in the wild don't have main events. I will recommend this book to Haryong because this is a short book and it's pretty easy to read. It takes short time reading this book. And I will least recommend this book to Jasmine because she likes long books and I just feel that she wouldn't like it too much. And thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Joan, and today I'm going to talk about the book called My Side of the Mountain. The author of this book is Jean Craighead George, and the genre of the book is adventure. I'll tell you about the story. So there was a kid called Brian. And there was a kid who lived in New York, and the kid didn't like the living in the crowded city, so he ran away to the great grandpa's mountain. And it is a story that living in the mountain, and at last his family moved to the mountain. My best part of this book was when he goes to the mountain and tries to live there. I want to recommend this book to Brendan because I think Brendan will like adventure stories, and I think Taekyun will not like this book because this book is kinda boring and there was kinda hard words, so I think he will not like it. The lesson learned of this book is we can, I think, thank you for listening. I didn't. Hello, my name is Ivan, and today I will tell you the book called The Wednesday Wars. The setting of this book is in America, and the time is 1960s in Vietnam War time. And so now I'll tell you the characters. The characters are Mrs. Becker and Holling. Holling is the main character. Now I'll tell you the summary. There was a boy, seventh grade boy called Holling. He in Wednesdays he has a religion class, but only his religion is different. So he is left alone with the teacher named Miss Burger and reads Shakespeare play. So he's having a hard time with Miss Burger. And when he does this kind of things, he has a really hard time, but he learns many things by Miss Burger. Now I will not tell you the ending, but I recommend this book to Jacob because he likes reading and he likes reading a long book and that. So and I don't recommend this book to June because he don't like reading books and he's this book is kind of boring, so I think he would not like it. I would rate this book as 6 because this is like kind of boring and hard to understand for me, so I would rate this book as 7. The lesson that I learned is if you have a hard time with our teachers, then we can like try to talk to them. Thank you for listening.
Hello guys, today I will present my essential reading book. It is The Sign of the Beaver. This book is really immersive. If you think like books are boring, you should read this one. The author of this book is Elizabeth George Spear. She's one of the few authors to have won Newbery Medal twice. The genre of this book is historical fiction because the story was a long time ago, and also it includes lots of things that people actually used at the time. The time setting of this book is late 1700s, and the place setting is the forest that Matt lives in. So this is how the story goes. Matt was a 12 years old boy. One day, his dad told him to guard the new built cabin because his dad has to go complete his work and go somewhere else. At the first day, Matt felt lonely and he chopped woods and struggles to manage food and water. One day, he was exploring the forest and he felt like someone was watching him. It was a Native American boy. His name was Atten. They were suspecting each other and didn't trust each other, especially Atten, because at the time, white people treated Native Americans really badly. So Atten couldn't believe and trust Matt. But Matt provided food and water to Atten and to stop and help him. So they started to respect each other and became like something like friends. Matt teaches him how to speak their languages, and Atten teaches Matt how to hunt with traps and how to track footprints. As they building their wonderful friendship, something bad happens. One day they met a group of wild animals in a harsh weather. What will happen to them? You will find out when you read this book. I would recommend this book to Daniel because he really likes history. And at break time, he always talks about history, geography, and countries. Since the genre of this book is historical fiction, I think he will really like it. Uh, and also, this book is about friendship, so you can learn more about it. I think Tegan will at least enjoy this book because this book has some like hard vocabulary words, so it could be a little hard for him. And also, he doesn't really like history that much, and this if you don't know anything about those history, it will be really hard for you to understand the story. I recommend this book to everyone who likes historical fiction. I will rate this book 7 out of 10 because I like the story and the characters, but honestly, it was not my style. I like comics and funny stuff more than history, and I don't like history that much. Like if you look at my grade, you will know. And but still, I think it was a pretty good book, and I hope you enjoyed this book. And thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Yunsu, and today going to talk about book Sabi. And author of this book are Ingrid Law, and genre of this book are fiction. And setting of this book is hip house. And let's go to summary. Summary of this book is the book name Sabi. Sabi means the fish, like he pet, and like Sabi can give some magical power to him in his birthday. So like I will tell until here um, because I think until here is like most fun. So and I recommend this book to Caleb because Caleb will like long book and some magical power, and I will not recommend this book to Tegan because Tegan or like didn't like long book, and I rate this book like 5 because this is so long and only beginning is fun. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone. Today my name is Aiden. Today I'm gonna talk about book name Watership Down by Richard Adams. This book starts from Jesus the rabbit's hopes and the Jesus little brother Fiber so dangerous future because Fiber can see the futures. So Jesus and Fiber and other rabbits run away from that hole and find other not dangerous place to live. And they found they had go many place, and when there's when it's dangerous, Fiber see future, so they can go there more safely. And Fiber leads other Fiber Hazel leads other rabbits, and then they found watership top watership top the hill, and then they fought with others to get there, and then they win because fiber can see futures, so they can have good plans, so they win them. And my favorite character in this book is Fiverr because he can see the futures, so this story starts, and other rabbits can be safety and get protect. And my second favorite character in this book is Fiverr because he leads the other rabbits so they can find a way. And I recommend this book to Kevin, Dennis, because they like adventure stories and they like cute rabbits. Yeah, and then I don't recommend this book to Junyu because he don't like rabbits and then he don't like long books. I rate this book 10 out of 10 because I like adventure books and I like rabbits. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Hael and I'm going to present a book named The Maze Runner. The author of the book is James Dasher, and the main character of the book is Thomas. The story starts by when Thomas wakes up in the lift and he can't remember anything except for his name. And when he woke up, he was surrounded by some boys that that lost their memories too. Outside the tower, when the stone wall opens, they can see a maze, and there are runners that they go outside and find supplies to be alive. And one day, a girl arrives to the place where the boys are, and she says something terrifying, and yes, okay, I'm done.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah, and today I'm going to talk about the book I read named The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. Kelly Barnhill, the author of The Girl Who Drank the Moon, was born on December 7, 1973, in Minnesota and currently lives there with her husband and 3 children. She is the best-selling author, teacher, and mother who writes other novels, short stories, and novellas, and her work has earned numerous accolades, including the Newbery Medal Award and the World Fantasy Award. Right now, she is suffering from a syndrome that slows her writing process. So she published a book recently about her daily life, and she has stated that sadly it might be her last book. But still, people all over the world encourage her to write and to fulfill her dream of writing. Now I'm going to talk about the summary of The Girl Who Drank the Moon. In the procreator, the people believe that they must sacrifice a baby every year from a terrifying witch in the forest. What they do not know is that a real witch, Zan, is actually very kind and she rescues the abandoned babies from the forest. She loves going on those trips and she is actually confused why these people are sacrificing these babies. And she usually feeds the babies she rescues Starlight because so that they can enhance and they can grow gracefully. And there are rumors about these kids are magical. On one trip, she accidentally feeds a baby girl Moonlight instead of Starlight. This fills the child with powerful magic. So Zan decides to raise her as her own and names her Luna because if anyone else raises her, it can cause a magic unleash and can cause harm to the entire world. And at the same time, like after 7 years, a young man named Anatane, troubled by the cruelty of the sacrifice ritual, leaves the council and vows to stop it. He eventually ventures into the forest to confront the witch and end the tradition for good. But what he doesn't know is that the witch, Zan, was actually helping the children to have better lives and not getting eaten by other witches. He has hatred inside his heart, and also he decides to back up his community and to end killing babies for good. When Luna nears her 13th birthday, her magic breaks open like a seed growing into a plant, and she starts learning the truth about the plant, about her past. She eventually has she eventually has visions when she sleeps. And she also finds out that Zan, her loving grandmother, was actually keeping secrets from her and what truly happened between the procreator and the forest. Meanwhile, the mad woman escapes her prison, determined to save her daughter, and she believes is still alive. And the mad woman is actually Luna's mother, who is struck by grief, and now everyone is calling her mad woman. Everything converges when Luna, Zan, and Anakin and the Mad Woman and a corrupted magical being called the Sorrow Eater collide. The Sorrow Eater, revealed to be a powerfully hunger elder, has been manipulating procreators for years, feeding on people's sadness. In the climax, Luna discovers full strength of her magic and confronts the Sorrow Eaters, breaking her hold of the procreator. Families are reunited and lies behind the sacrifices are exposed, and people are finally freed from fear. In the end, Luna embraces her magic and her new large family, her community plus Zan and her pet dragon and Anakin. Hope replaces sorrow and the procreator begins to heal, and at the end, Anakin says to Luna that she is the most prettiest girl he had ever seen and that he hopes that he can have a wife like Luna. So and maybe in the next book they will have a romantic story. But anyway, the most memorable part in this book was when Grandma Zan feeds Luna the moonlight, because if she hadn't feed Luna the moonlight, then when Anakin was getting a revolt against Zan, nobody would have helped her and she would have been all alone. And also, many of the things wouldn't have happened because Anakin wouldn't have found a girl who um, like inside him, not the outside him, because everyone thought he was ugly, but Luna was the only one who saw his real heart. And also, the mad woman, aka her lost mom, wouldn't have recovered from grief, and the mad woman would have still been in the cell if it wasn't for Luna and her encouraging mind. My favorite characters are Luna and Zan because, first of all, Luna is selfless. She wanted to protect her family from the procurators and the elders and her own community. And she did not have a mental breakdown, unlike most of the girls of her age, when she found out that Zan wasn't her real grandmother, they were not blood related, and that her own mother is in a cell suffering from grief. So I like to say that she has a strong mind. And Zan, I think she's also a very good character because when everyone thought that she was actually a bad person and that she eats the children, she was actually like helping them and helping them to have a better life and like giving them to families who would really accept them, and also giving the children a blessing of her own, which is called Starlight. And my favorite quote in this book is that sometimes a story can be real and sometimes a story can be false, because Luna says this to herself when she uncovers the truth that her grandma is actually lying to her. So at first she was really mad at her grandma, but eventually she finds out that her grandma was actually lying, and also that she was just protecting her. And the saddest part was when Zan actually goes away because her magic like dissolves, because Luna was accidentally taking Zan's magic. So Zan died at the age of 511. So it was very sad because Luna didn't really have another family, but the mad woman, who now became a normal woman, took care of her, and Anakin developed a strong connection to Luna. And I would recommend this book to Kevin and all the girls and Dennis because they like fantasy books, and Aiden too, because he read The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and he told me to read this book because he likes fantasy novels. So he thought that I would like it too because I like Harry Potter. And anyways, I think that Jingyu and Alex wouldn't like this book because they hate fantasy books and they desperately hate Harry Potter, and also they only like books that talk about war and anime, so I'll not recommend the books to them. Thank you.
Um, Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a book named Starfish by Lisa Phipps. This is the short short story about like a girl named Ellie who is having a hard time with her problem with her waist. In her school, she gets bullied by girls named Marisa and Courtney because she's fat, and she gets bullied in her family also by her brother Liam hates her and writes a school journal about hatred of her sister, and also her mothers always make Ellie to weight herself every day, every morning, and she searched for the children weight loss surgery also, and but Ellie's father doesn't care about her fat and just loves her, and the stories goes like dad and Ellie's mother fight for mother says she should go to gym and father says she should go to therapist, and it was the last time to try therapist, and uh in first semester in new semesters Ellie started to go a therapist named Dr. And uh, Ellie learns how to protect herself and love herself because she used to write the short note about like fat girl rules, because and she wrote about like you should be small, you should be shame on you, like write the bad words to herself in the note and made herself small. By a therapist's help, she started to protect herself by she for a short event she went to short family trip, but she got again other people started to laugh at her, and one girl one unknown girl take a take a photo of Ellie and started to make fun of her, and Ellie was really angry and she almost hit her, but she like pressed herself and just started to love her from that day. And for the last event, Ellie was Ellie's pet named Gigi was kidnapped by a bully Marisa and Corty. So it was the final fight. Ellie and Corty and Marisa started to fight, like throwing the cupcakes, and others came and started to help. And at last, Ellie learned how to love herself. I will rate this book 10 out of 10 because it was so I could feel empathy very well, and I want to recommend this book to Dennis and Lisa, because for Dennis, he already read this book, but I want him to read one more time. And for Lisa, the author's name is Lisa, so I want her to read. Thank you.
Hello. I'm Daniel.
You're Daniel.
I will present about book Deep Blue, and author is one who I cannot remember. Genre of book is fiction and fantasy and mystery, I think. Setting is main character is Princess of Kingdom, and Queen gets killed by assassin. And main character try to find other kingdoms princess to unite and against assassins. Worse than the assassin. Which will most enjoy this book? Why do you believe so?
You're not supposed to read that.
I think Jason and Yuan will like it because they like fantasy. I gave you summary. Main character tried to find the other kingdom's princess.
What's main character's name?
I don't remember. I write a book report and I forgot.
Did you use
No, I don't use ChatGPT like you.
I don't write it.
Better to do more.
Yeah, keep on going.
This is going on to YouTube. Our school's reputation.
Yeah, guys, be quiet.
Why do you believe so? I think someone who like love story and don't like fantasy will don't like this book. Such as someone in the world, or one of my classmates.
Such as.
I don't know.
Is that me?
No, someone who likes this book.
What?
And I think here don't have is information or science, so
Hello, my name is Karen and I will talk about the book My Family and Other Animals. This book is autobiographical book which talks about the author's real life experience. So he talks about his childhood in the story. And it shows the wonder and about natural world, and it is adventurous and talks about very animal things. And for the setting is the island of Corfu. And now I'll talk about the summary. The main character Gary and his family decided to move to the island of Corfu from England. And in that island, Gary and his family adventures with animals and meet many animals and experience many things about nature. And there is 2 events, and one is about crab, and another one is about the snake, but you can know that when you read the book. My favorite character is the main character Gary because he has very curiosity and wonders of many natural worlds. I want to recommend this book to Devon because she likes animals and cares about them. And I don't want to recommend this book to people who doesn't like animals or adventurous stories. Thank you.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So it's a snowy day. I'm going to share you a book called 2001: Space Odyssey. So before I tell you about this book, I'm just here to buy time. I'm not going to give you a brief summary. So it's by Arthur C. Clarke. This guy has a tone of slow, calm thing. This book is basically so boring, but it's actually a useful book. The genre is science fiction, which I don't like it. And the main character is, I think it's Dave. Dave. And this story is Earth has lots of droughts, according to what I read. But it's not sure. But there was Moon Watcher guy, Ugu Gaba. The like an ape but gorilla person. So I think the Moon Watcher was and there was a big a black rectangle thingy on the.
Can you draw it?
I can't draw that, but it's like that. And then it's Moon Watcher is just watching that. Do you know what happened next? Read the book.
Wow.
And then no, it's not the end. So there's a guy named Dave. I think he travels across the space. Do you know why? Read the book.
Wow.
And then he rides like a spaceship called Hell 9000. HAL, not HELL. Ooh. So when he's traveling around, Dave is trying to turn off the Hell 9000. Do you know why? Read the book.
Wow.
And the robot, the Hell 9000 knows it. And do you know what he says? And then he tries to open the door. And Hell 9000 says, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid that can't happen. Now Dave's cooked. He's in the space. He can't go inside the spaceship. That's so tragic. Do you know what happened at the end? I'm not gonna spoil. Read the book. So,
You don't know.
So, I think my favorite character is Hell 9000. Do you know why? He makes conflicts, but he's not evil. He's actually a good guy, I think. Yeah. And I don't know, what happened to Dave. Read the book. I think Daniel will like this book because it's about science stuff, and I don't really like it. But I think Yu-Chen will hate it. Because, no, I'm not trying to diss someone. I'm not trying to hate someone. I mean, I think Yu-Chen will hate this. It's like you need to have
Good heart.
Yeah, good heart to read this. You have, so I'm not asking you for a day. I'm not asking you for a week. Just you need a year to read this for me. And then and then this book is really good, for me, but the story itself is really good. My favorite line, I told you it was, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. This is actually a really famous quote. You know that? It's a robot said this famous quote. It was published in, let me see. Whatever, I'll tell you later if I can. So, yeah, it's by Arthur C. Clarke. This has a movie. I tried to watch it, but it was boring, so I didn't. Thank you.
Wow.
Hello, my name is Samuel Kim. Today, I want to talk about my essential reading book named Little Woman by
Louisa. Louisa May Scott.
And first setting of this book is war, and main character of this book is Joe, and there are 4 children, Meg, Joe, and I don't know what 2 children's name, but they help each other to defeat their depressed or gave up heart or something that's negative. And I think this fiction is growing fiction. So, and summary of this book is their father go military because of the North-South war, and they don't have their mom because of very hard situation. So they have their only 4 children, and I love that their journey, because when in difficult situation they help each other and gave a hope to each other, and finally they reach to best place. Advantage. Telling about advantage about main characters. Meg is beautiful and wise. So she got married by handsome husband maybe. And Joe is like he's very handful guy, but I like his style. So my favorite character is Joe, and other two girls are other two girls are very silent and they want to play piano or something. So if you want to know the final, please read the book, okay? Okay. So I will recommend this book to David because he have to improve his English skill. I will now recommend this book to Yu-chan. But it's not this.
Why always me?
Because I think he's good at math, so he's good at math. Math.
Thank you.
So he will not enjoy this book. Maybe he will enjoy 2001: A Space Odyssey. Okay? This is my end of speech and thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Yejen. Today I'm going to present about 2001: Space Odyssey. The author name is C. Clark. And the genre of this book is little fantasy. Setting is space and community. Now I'm going to talk about the summary of this book. There is monolith called monolith is devised and the monolith appeared in front of humans very long time ago. And after monolith came, the monolith promoted humans' evolution. So after monolith came, human did first evolution in this book. And after that, in future, human traveled to moon and they found other monoliths. And monoliths did signal to Saturn, so people realized that there is other creature in the other space. So they travel other planet. There is astronomy and scientists and artificial intelligence computer called HEAN. So when they're doing travel, they change their mission. So HEAN got confused, so they tried to eliminate people in planet. So the person turn off this artificial intelligence computer, and the astronomy left alone. They followed monoliths, and the human evolved other shape of human. I will recommend this book to Sore because this book has good storyline and scientific story. So I think Sore like this book. Thank you for listening.
Hello, I am Jonghyuk from G10, and I'm gonna talk about talk about The Old Man and the Sea. So, written by Hemingway in 1952, and Hemingway is like, as you know, the very famous author. And then the basic plot is there is protagonist, the old man, and then the young boy who is the Manulan. So Manulan, the young boy already support the old man, but the old man don't let him go to the sea. So the old man go to the sea alone, and there is like fight against the fish, and then after he won, he come back to the home, but during he back to the home, there's like another like fight against some sharks, and finally he came back to the home, and then Manolan like yeah it is. So my favorite character is obviously the old man because he's like very. I just wanna respect him because he like fight against some like big fish. If I was him, I don't think I can do it. So thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Alvin and my grade is 10, and today I talk about the Out of Dust and authored by Hassan Karen. And in the explain about the plot, main character of Village and has his father and mom, but and they are live in Osaka, and and this place has dust storm. There is dust storm is the not a hate for their families, and one day villagers making breakfast and her father live part of crosser like the oil, and next to the next but he placed the next to the stove, and then goes into the field. Father goes to the field, and mother said setting on fire while trying to make coffee and cookies, and her mother doesn't know that is like the oil, and she runs out to the field in search of her father, and this time mother is get off fire, and his her body is born, and after this event, her mother is get a huge burn, and finally her die, and that is a finish.
Hello, my name is Jiten Ianjun, and today I want to talk about 1984. So, this book is written by George Orwell. Like as you know, like he wrote Animal Farm too, and this book is published at 1949. And this genre of like this book is dystopia novel. And okay, so the main character is like Winston Smith, and he lives in the country called Oceania, and the party control this like country, and Winston Smith like tries to reveal the truth. So he started to write diary, like, but the country like said don't write diary, but he wrote it, and he met Julia and he fell in love with her. So Julia was like really she wanted to find freedom, so they both tried to escape from the country, but they arrested by police. So they went to room 101 and get like re-educated. Then Winston Smith got re-educated and he like totally changed his mind and he started to love Big Brother too. So the after I read this book and I started to think about martial law again, because martial law is that the past president like tries to took our freedom, right? And I had a conversation about this yesterday, and I wish somebody could change his mind. And I would like to recommend this book to Chongyeo because I think freedom is very important to every people. Yes, thank you.
Hi, my name is Lisa Park, and I'm actually here to talk about two books because they're actually surprisingly quite related to each other. One is A Brave New World, written by Aldous Huxley, who is a writer and philosopher. He's a philosopher. And the other is a play written by William Shakespeare called The Tempest. So for A Brave New World, the title itself is actually an allusion to The Tempest because the phrase Brave New World actually comes from a quote in The Tempest. And the basic setting of Brave New World is about like a quote unquote perfect society where humans are lab grown and they're like genetically modified to be specifically suited for certain jobs. And so the only way they can really feel happiness is through drugs called soma. But here there's a main character called John who is an outsider of like the society, and his parents were basically exiled, and like the only literature he knows is Shakespeare, so he like references it all the time to express his emotions. So I think that's quite similar to The Tempest because that's also a story about exile, and although it's more magical, it ends like with forgiveness, and hopefully Brave New World ends like that as well. But there's a quote from A Brave New World which like John says in like critique to like the perfect society that offers like comfort. He says, I don't want comfort, I want God, I want poetry, I want real danger, I want freedom, I want goodness, I want sin. So it's kind of, I feel like after reading that, it reminded me like of this topic of like The Giver, because The Giver is also about a society who like blocks off everything, even like pleasure, for like comfort and safety. And that's how like they lose all the colors. So I guess that's a similar theme in dystopian novels. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Paula, and I'm going to introduce a book called 1984 by George Orwell. So, this book is about Winston Smith, who is a government worker in Oceania, and Oceania is a totalitarian state ruled by the party, and also there is a symbolic figure named Big Brother. So we don't know if he's an actual human existing, but he's a figure that is told to rule Oceania. And so Julia and Winston Smith tries to rebel, bless you, towards the party because they value freedom and privacy and personal space and love and etc. etc. But then they're soon caught by the thought police, and Winston Smith is brought to the room 101, and his mindset is totally changed because he's mentally and physically abused, and he eventually betrays Julia with the rebellion and stuff like that. And my favorite character used to be Julia and Winston Smith because of their values and stuff, but then towards the end of the story where Winston is changed, I didn't like Winston anymore because he became part of the party. So now Julia is my only favorite character. And a significant line that represents the main theme is Big Brother is watching you, because this implies to the invasion of privacy and control of the party towards the people. Yeah, that's all I want to share. Thank you.
I'm Lindsay from G10, and the book I read this week was The Alchemist, and it's a novel by Paulo Coelho, and it's a philosophical adventure story about like finding your purpose in life. So for a summary, basically there's this like shepherd whose name is Santiago, and he's from Spain, and he keeps having this same dream about treasure hidden near the Egyptian pyramids, and he meets this old man named Melchizedek, who tells him that the dream is like part of his personal legend, which basically means it's like his destiny. And so Santiago like sells all of his sheep, and he begins his journey like to the pyramids. And during the journey, he faces many obstacles, but those obstacles like help him to grow. And he eventually meets the alchemist, who's like a person who can turn metal into gold. And the alchemist becomes his like personal guide. So he teaches him like spiritual lessons about courage and belief. And Santiago reaches the pyramids, but there's a twist that the treasure was actually hidden in Spain. But even though the treasure was home, like the journey itself led to his Santiago's personal growth. So like the journey, it wasn't like useless, and it was worth it. And so two like themes that I wanted to talk about was courage and self-discovery, because for courage, this book like teaches that sometimes to achieve like your dreams or what you want, you have to be able to take risks and step out of your comfort zone. And even though like the risk might not always be successful, it will like lead to growth. So, and for self-discovery, Santiago learns that treasure is not just gold, but it was the person that he became during the journey. And wait, and so this book it teaches like lessons about like overall it teaches lessons about taking risks, chasing after your dreams, and believing in yourself. So I would recommend this book to anyone who like feels uncertain about their goals. And, yeah.
Hello, my name is Colin, and I'll be presenting a book called Animal Farm, written by George Orwell. To give some context, George Orwell was a part of the Russian Revolution, or at least he was a bystander of it. He worked as a law enforcement officer until he saw the revolution happen, and thus that was how he got inspiration for his book. This book is a portrayal of how revolutions work and how they might terrorize a country. For example, all the animals are actually in a barn. They are all sort of just cattle for the humans, except for the fact that they wanted a revolution. They wanted to stop working and they wanted to start eating whatever they wanted. And the premise of this book is to show that, first of all, violence. Actually, no. The book is trying to show the flaws of not only communism but also a monarchy, because the famous quote in the book is, quote unquote, some animals are equal, but some are more equal than others, which just shows the unjustified inequality between those of the high ranking and those of the low ranking, and how communism slash the Russian Revolution has failed to identify that. And this book does a wonderful job at doing that, because not only are all of the characters only animals, but it also shows that they all have their own differences, and that just makes the inequality so much higher. And if I were to recommend this book to someone, I think it would be Jong-hyuk, because he is very politically involved, and I feel like he could have a change of mind on some parts of his ideology. And my favorite character is definitely Boxer, maybe, because he was the part. I guess he was the bravery, and he was the brave animal that led through all of the chaos, such as the Battle of the Cowshed. Anyways, I would like to conclude my book report. Thank you.
I read City of Thieves by David Ben. The genre is historical fiction adventure. The setting is in Leningrad, Russia during World War II, during the siege of Leningrad in the 1940s. Lev and Kolya are the two young men on a life-threatening quest to fulfill their mission and escape from wartime Leningrad. Their journey is filled with trials and tribulations as they encounter different people, endure hardships, and grow as they navigate the destroyed city of Leningrad. Included in the key events and experiences throughout the book are their interaction with the soldiers and civilians and their adventure to gather eggs for the Russian army. So a classmate who would most likely to enjoy this book may prefer learning and experiencing during tragedy such as war or during hard times, and also a classmate who would least likely to enjoy this book may prefer only fun and bright stories that may not capture full details in tragedy.
Hey! 투민이 나이스 투민.
Hello. The book I choose to present is The Scarlet Letter. And Hadron was a major American novelist who often wrote about moral struggle and conflict between individual desire and society, and script society. The Scarlet Letter, published in 1850, is probably his most famous novel and is studied in school all over the world. The novel is historical fiction, but it is also part romance, part historical drama. It focuses deeply on emotion, especially guilt, shame, and forgiveness. So even though it takes place long ago, this issue is the story still very, very relatable today. The story is set in Hartenburg during the a time when religion controlled almost everything. People were expected to behave perfectly, and if they made a mistake, a community punished them. The strictness of this setting is important because it explains why the publishment is the book is so harsh and why the character feels so pastoral. The novel centers on Hester Prime, a woman who has a baby without a husband because she committed adultery. The town focus forced her to wear a large red A on her chest, the Scarlet Letter. This letter is meant to shame her and remind everyone, everything. Even though she becomes an outsider, Hester remains clean, strong, and caring. Raising her daughter, her with love. Her is curious, energetic, and often behave in ways that make the townspeople uncomfortable, almost as if she represents her with free spirit. Two other major characters are weavers, author Day and Robert. Day is a respected minister who appears calm on the outside but is carrying a deep emotional burden that slowly destroys him. Who is actually Hester's husband, arrived in Boston unexpectedly and become upset with discovering the man connected who Hester seen. A memorable moment is the book occur when history focused to stand on the town, holding baby for while the entire community stayed at home. These scenes clearly show how judgmental and unforgiving the society is. The Scarlet Letter itself become a symbol that changes meaning throughout the story. As time passes, it becomes less a symbol of shame and more a sense of Hester's strength and resilience. Without spoiling the ending, I can say that each character eventually face the consequence of their choice in an emotional and dramatic way. And I recommend to Jaden. Okay, because this story I enjoy emotional and symbol stories really like, and okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Jaden, and today is December 5th, Friday. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the book called Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So, today I'm gonna talk about written by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and so let's begin. Talk about author. Hawthorne was an important American author who often wrote about guilty, morality, and the way society judges people. And The Scarlet Letter was published in 1850, and this is one of his most famous works and is considered as a classic of American literature. So, The Scarlet Letter genre is historical fiction, but it has also elements of romance, drama, and psychological exploration. Even though it takes place in early colonial America, it deals with themes that feel modern, like judgment, identity, and how people try to rebuild their lives after making mistakes. So, the story set in 17th century Puritan Boston. This time period is important because Puritans had extremely strict religious rules. They believed that everyone needed to behave perfectly, and if someone broke a rule, the whole community would punish them. The setting creates a very tense and harsh atmosphere which influences every decision the character make. So the summary of the book, the main character of the novel is Hester Prynne, a woman who has committed adultery. As a punishment, the authorities force her to wear a bright red letter A on her chest for the rest of her life. This scarlet letter makes her as a sinner, and she becomes an outcast in her own town. However, instead of running away or breaking down, Hester stays strong. She raises her daughter Pearl, who is a very spirited and unusual child. Pearl constantly reminds both Hester and the community of the sin they want to forget, which makes her a symbol throughout the story. Another important character is Reverend Arthur Dimmesdale, a respected minister who is dealing with a heavy secret that causes him instant guilt. He is admired by people of Boston, but on the inside, he struggles emotionally and physically. The third key character is Roger Chillingworth, Hester's long-lost husband, who arrives unexpectedly and becomes obsessed with discovering the truth behind Hester's sin. As the story unfolds, these three characters become trapped in a difficult cycle of guilt, revenge, and emotional conflict. One memorable moment is that when Hester first stands on the scaffold in front of the entire town, holding baby Pearl while the crowd stares at her. This scene shows how society can be cruel, and it sets the tone for the rest of the book. Throughout the novel, Thorne uses strong symbols, especially the Scarlet Letter itself, to show how guilt and judgment affect each character differently. I won't spoil the ending, but the final scenes show how each character's choices eventually catch up with them. I think Ben, William, and Eugene, and Nayeon, and Steve will enjoy because this story is very deep and thoughtful. If you're someone who likes reading about characters dealing with emotions, you would enjoy them. And on the other hand, I think Leo, Andrew would not enjoy it because it's too long. Thank you.
Okay, good job.
Hello, today I'm going to talk about The Scarlet Letter by Missionary Hope. This novel set in a straight Puritan community in the 1600s explores themes of sin, punishment, judgment, and personal choice. Even though it takes place hundreds of years ago, many of the
ideas still feel relevant today, which is why I choose this book for my presentation. The story follows Esther Green, a woman who is forced to wear a scarlet letter A on her chest as punishment for her sin. Instead of running away or breaking down, Esther chooses to live with dignity. What makes her interesting is not the mistake she made, but how she handles the consequences. She works hard, raises her daughter Pearl, and refuses to let society completely define who she is. One of the most meaningful themes in the book is how society judges people without knowing their full story. The scarlet letter is supposed to shame Esther, but ironically it makes her stronger and more independent. It shows that identity isn't built on public opinion, it's shaped by personal choices and inner character. This theme is universal because everyone experiences judgment at some point in their lives. One moment that stood out to me is when Esther helps people in the community even though many of them judge her harshly. This scene shows her compassion and resilience. It also reveals an important message. Kindness can exist even in the middle of punishment and shame. This moment makes the reader rethink whether the society around Esther is truly moral or if she is the one who actually shows moral strength. So reading this book made me think about how people often define others too quickly. Esther's story reminded me that one mistake does not represent a whole person. What matters more is how someone grows afterward. I also learned that sometimes the people who are judged the most harshly are the ones who have the most courage. So in conclusion, The Scarlet Letter is not just a story about punishment, it's a story about strength, identity, and the courage to stand alone. Esther's journey shows that dignity can survive even in harsh conditions, and I would recommend this book to anyone who likes stories that explores deep emotional and moral questions. Thank you.